after excavating down for about 7 meters, we exposed the remains of this amazing building, a circular building that you can see here, or a semicircular building, which we know belongs to the Roman world and is known as a theater-like structure. Theaters and theater-like structures we know existed in Jerusalem. They're mentioned in the historical sources. In the Second Temple period, Josephus Flavius mentions their existence. Later on, in the late Roman period, they're also mentioned. But after 150 years of archaeological research, they haven't been found. And one of the questions that archaeologists have always posed themselves is, where are these theaters? Where are Jerusalem's theaters? And they have suggested various locations. This is the first time that a structure like this has been exposed in Jerusalem. Sorry, I'm still with you. We believe that it was used for one of two functions. Either it was used as an odeon, which is a theater-like structure used for acoustical performances, so it doesn't demand such a large stage, and it doesn't need all the features that a theater would have, but what it does need is a roof. And one of the amazing things here is that because we're beneath an arch, they would have had the arch to use as their roof. Another possibility is that it was used as a bouleuterion, which is where the city council meets, or in this case, not the city council, but the colonies council, because Jerusalem after 70 CE is not a city, but rather a Roman colony known as Aelia Capitolina. We believe it was never completed. Some of the staircases aren't fully carved. There are some of the stones which have been etched for carving but not completed. And one of the questions we've been asking ourselves is, after putting in all this effort of building such a grandiose building, what would cause them to stop? We know that around 130 CE, the second revolt, the Bar Kokhba revolt, erupts. And one of the theories that we're toying with right now is that the Romans begin to build this theater prior to the revolt, and when the revolt breaks out, they cease building the theater in order to go deal with the revolt, and they never return to complete it. Who's living in Jerusalem after the destruction? We know that the Roman legion was here, but what about the civil aspects of society? And it's one of the debates in archaeology is how well developed, how bustling was Aelia Capitolina. The finding of this theater maybe indicates as to the fact that it was a bustling place, although, as I mentioned before, the theater was never completed. And so is this one of the indications that the intention was to make a bustling colony, but in the end, it didn't work out. By the 4th century CE, with the introduction of Christianity, Jerusalem's importance rises greatly. But I believe that this is one of the indications that also during that period between the Second Temple period and between the rise of Christianity, that Jerusalem was also an important Roman colony, not just, you know, wasteland, no man's land where the legion sat around.
camera set.